Tonight's talk is about welcoming prayer and the body. Let's begin with a psalm. O God, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. It was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, that I know well. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. Reach down into the depths of my heart to lead me in the way everlasting. Welcome to this digital contemplative prayer group. This is a place for all God's people. Whatever your beliefs or doubts, you are welcome here. If you are new to centering prayer, just follow the instructions as the session unfolds. You're also welcome to use the silence in any other way that is right for you. Loving God, we ask for your blessings upon this gathering, recognizing that we bring the joys and sorrows of our lives here today. If anyone would like to mention, silently or aloud, expressions of gratitude or concern for ourselves, our families, our friends, our society, or our fragile planet, please do so now.
Grateful for this meeting.
For my friend Susan, who today had her 4th surgery in a week, and for my cousin Lois.
For the people affected by the recent fires in New York and Philadelphia.
For Sharon.
God, we trust that you hear our prayers, silent or spoken, wordless or in words. So I like to return to the subject of the welcoming prayer regularly in our group. It's not a regular part of our program, but I know for many of us it's a regular part of our lives. And I like to make sure that everyone who comes to this group has been introduced to the welcoming prayer, because it's such an incredibly valuable tool. It's a form of meditation that can be used at times when we're overwhelmed by an emotion or a physical sensation, physical pain, physical discomfort in the midst of our daily activities. So while in centering prayer we come apart from life to sit in silence for 20 or 30 minutes, the welcoming prayer is a form of consent on the go that we can use at any other time in our lives when we're not centering. And it can be used for as little as 30 seconds in the midst of daily life. It's a good way to just stop and remind yourself to be present with whatever's happening with you so that you can be centered and grounded and prevent yourself from becoming reactive or lost in your thoughts and emotions. And the welcoming prayer is also an important complement to centering prayer because it invites us to be in our bodies in a very explicit way. It reminds us to make our bodies a part of our practice and helps us to learn how to make our bodies part of our prayer practice. Centering prayer practice is not separate from the body. We don't try to block out the body during our centering prayer any more than we try to stop having thoughts. We let our bodies be there, along with the rest of our experience. But whenever we become overly engaged with our experience of the body, then we use the sacred symbol to gently disengage ourselves, just as we would from any other thought that becomes a distraction. With the welcoming prayer, we begin very explicitly with awareness of our bodies. Whenever we find ourselves in our lives dealing with a challenging emotion or state of being, rather than resisting it or trying to push it away, we can move deeper into that state by just noticing very attentively and intentionally what it feels like to be in our bodies. This might be the last thing we feel like doing at that moment. We all have our different ways of running away from whatever we're feeling, with avoidance, repression, addiction, analysis. The welcoming prayer invites us to accept what is rather than trying to run away from it. We consent to the presence of the sacred and to this moment just as it is. We do this welcoming and accepting by focusing on our bodies and inviting everything in our experience into our field of awareness. So how do we practice the welcoming prayer? It has 3 very simple steps. The first one is to feel and sink into whatever you're experiencing in your bodies. Notice the sensation in your body of whatever emotion or state of being or physical sensation you're experiencing. So you could use the word notice or feel to remind yourself of that step 1. The second step is to welcome whatever you're experiencing. And you could just say the word welcome to help yourself invite your experience to be there. Accept that your feelings are there and that you can just be the way you are without trying to change anything. This is an opportunity to consent to God's presence within us. So welcome is the second step. And you can go back and forth for a while between step 1 and step 2, just feeling and noticing and welcoming. And you may notice things shifting and changing, and you can feel and welcome whatever you find coming into your awareness. You don't have to stick to one part of it. You can allow it to unfold and be very alive. Then the third step is letting go. When you're ready, sometimes if you're in a hurry and you're doing it really on the go, you may not have time to go back and forth between step 1 and step 2. But if you're doing it a little bit more quietly, you might go back between those 2 steps until you're ready. And then when you're ready, you can say, I let go of my desire for security, affection, and control, and embrace this moment as it is. In the welcoming prayer, our body sensations invite us into an honest, accepting way of being. We're invited to listen to our bodies, to explore them, to experience the wounds and losses that might be stored in our bodies, and to experience our bodies as a place of healing. We can use our bodies to help us to grieve and learn and become more fully ourselves. Our bodies know how to be alive. They're where our trauma is stored, but they're also the part of us that knows how to heal that trauma. The joy that we're able to feel in our bodies, the deliciousness, the pleasure, can help us to awaken. And the welcoming prayer can be used to work with that joy and deliciousness. It's not just for afflictive emotions, it's for whatever we find coming into our experience. So it can be a prayer, a way of becoming more grateful and alive to what is inviting us to open and feel the deliciousness of our lives. If we live only in our minds, we can become partially dead. The welcoming prayer helps us to learn to bring our bodies into our practice and allow our bodies to be part of our aliveness. So now I'm going to invite you into an experience of the welcoming prayer, and then we'll do our 20 minutes of silent centering prayer. And then, instead of doing Alexio Divina tonight, I'd like to just return to the welcoming prayer, and I'll lead you through it 2 times, once before the centering prayer, and then for a longer period after the centering prayer, so that you get a chance to really sink into it and spend some time with it. So I invite you to just start to notice whatever's in your body. You can scan your body. When we do it after the centering prayer, I'll invite you into a more thorough scan of your whole body. But for now, just notice the sensations in your body of any particular emotion or physical sensation or state of being that might be calling for your attention. What does it feel like? Can you let go of your resistance to it and just tell it, welcome, welcome? Where is your body sensation that you're focusing on? Is it moving around? Are you tensing parts of your body or breathing differently than usual? Are the sensations you notice familiar? Just try to be fully present to whatever comes to you through your body rather than pushing it away. You don't need to analyze it, explain it, or name it. Just keep noticing it as a way of honoring your body with your attention. You're listening to your body and giving it an opportunity to speak to you. But it can speak to you without words. You don't need to translate what it's saying to you in words. Welcome. Welcome whatever comes. Accept that your experience is there, your feelings are there, and that you can just be however you are in this moment without trying to change. But if the feelings do change, that's all right too. And whenever you're ready, you can say, I let go of my desire for security, affection, and control, and embrace this moment as it is. So we'll make more time for welcoming after our 20 minutes of silence. Perhaps whatever has started to happen within you as a part of your feeling and noticing, welcoming and letting go, perhaps that process will continue and ripen in the silence without your needing to do anything about it. And then we'll return to it later. So for the moment, I invite you to take your posture for centering prayer. You can sit with your spine straight and let your body flow out from your spine. And just notice if there's anything you'd like to let go of before we begin. Any tension you'd like to give a little wiggle or a shake to in your face, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your hands. What are the places where you know your tension collects that you could just give a little love to before we begin, so that you can be comfortable and natural and relaxed in your posture, alert but not rigid. And just notice how you feel emotionally, whatever residue you might be bringing from the rest of your day, the feelings that might be coming into your attention from the welcoming prayer. Just touch them very gently with your attention and let go of them. What does it feel like to be in the room where you are right now, in this moment, a part of this digital community of prayer? And take a moment to notice who God is for you right now, whatever that might mean for you. You might not know, but that's all right. Just get in touch with whatever's alive for you, a sense of presence or absence, darkness or light, unknowing, gratitude, community, justice, whatever is alive for you in your relationship with God. Just touch it gently with your attention and let go of it. You won't be thinking about it during the time of prayer, but just allow it to infuse your practice. And then I invite you to silently sound your sacred word to yourself. Allow a word of 1 or 2 syllables to just rise up from within you. It doesn't need to be a particularly religious word, or doesn't even need to be a special word. It's just a word that you'll use as a tool to let go of thoughts if you find yourself becoming entangled in your thoughts, distracted by them. Your thoughts can come and go, but if you notice that you're distracted by them, following them, you can just silently sound your sacred word to yourself to disengage yourself from them. Or you can use a sacred breath and just touch it ever so gently to let go of your thoughts and disengage yourself from them. So just notice that that sacred symbol, the word or breath, is there. if you need it. And if you don't need it, if you're not engaged with your thoughts, you can just rest in the silence. Loving God, thank you for the gift of resting in your silence. I'm setting the timer for 20 minutes. At the end of the centering prayer time, sit with your eyes closed for a couple of minutes. This is an important time of transition from the prayer back into daily life. So what is your way of making that transition and bringing the energy of the prayer back into your life? You can just rest in the presence of God. You can slowly come back into your sense experience, opening your eyes and noticing the sounds around you. You can silently say a prayer to yourself, the Lord's Prayer or the Serenity Prayer or any beloved prayer that you know by heart. You can visualize yourself bringing the energy of the prayer into your life, perhaps into some particular challenge or activity that you're going to be facing. What is your way to make this transition? So we're going to return to the welcoming prayer. So I invite you into a noticing way of being. Just feel and sink into whatever you might be experiencing in your body. And if you'd like, you could start to scan your body to notice what is there. Or you can just go straight to something that's calling for your attention. Or you can move around, going back and forth between scanning and going to the place that's calling to you. So if you'd like to scan your body, I invite you to start with your scalp. Just notice your head, your ears, the place where your hair comes up through your head, your forehead. Notice the sockets of your eyes, behind your eyes. Notice your mouth, your tongue, the root of your tongue. You don't need to change anything. Just notice how it feels. Just allow it to be in your awareness without resistance, without running away. The back of your neck, the front of your neck. Is there any tightness? How is your head sitting on your neck? Your shoulders? Notice your chest. Notice your back, your spine. You could follow your spine from where it meets your skull, down your back, vertebra by vertebra, down to your tailbone. What is calling for your attention? What do you notice? Can you let your experience be full, experiencing this whole present moment without pushing away anything that's happening in your body. Notice your arms, your elbows, your hands, how your arms hang from the shoulders. What position are your hands in? Your fingers. Notice your belly. Any tightness or softness. Any movement from your breath. Notice your hips, your pelvis, your buttocks, the way they're sitting on a chair or a bed. Your legs, your thighs. Notice your knees. Notice your calves. Notice your feet. And welcome. Welcome everything that you find. Honor your body by paying attention to it and just being present with everything that you find. And if it calls you back to a certain place, be ready to go and experience whatever is happening in your body with compassion and without judgment, without trying to change anything. Just let your body be there. Be fully part of you, fully experienced. Stay with your emotions and sensations in whatever form they come to you. Don't resist. And when you're ready, say, I let go of my desire for security, affection, and control, and embrace this moment as it is. Now I'm going to read a short passage from Richard Rohr, and I invite you to just stay with your body, to just continue noticing, welcoming, embracing. As you listen. It has always deeply disappointed me that the Christian religion was the only one that believed God became a human body, and yet we have had such a deficient and frankly negative attitude towards embodiment, the physical world, sexuality, emotions, animals, wonderful physical practices like yoga, and nature itself. We want to do spirituality all in the head. It makes both presence and healing quite difficult because our body, not just our mind, holds our memories. So I invite you to allow those memories to ripen through the process of welcoming, acceptance, non-resistance, full experiencing, consenting to God's presence by feeling our feelings and sensations. And then when you've had a chance to welcome all that is within you, when you're ready, you can say, I let go of my desire for security, affection, and control, and embrace this moment as it is. Let's just be in silence for a few minutes before we go into the Lord's Prayer as interpreted by David Frenette. Our source, existing beyond time, though uncontained by images, sacred are your names. Unity is here. Your path be done in this world as it is beyond time. Give us this day appreciation of your every gift, and heal us, forgive us, as we are a healing, forgiving presence to others. And when challenges come, help us find you consciously, freeing us from encountering death, suffering, and evil outside you. For you are the generative source of this universe, its laws, and life itself, now and forever. So be it. Let it be. Well, thank you for being here tonight. It was wonderful to be with you. I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Have a good weekend, everybody.